Traxxas TRX4. This is Troy from Roadside RC. We are here doing another step in our constant evolution and modifications here of this truck. So we have done a lot of stuff. We'll share some playlists here with you where we've done, we obviously have different shock relocation. We have moved the bumpers. We've done a couple things like this already. We've cut the tires in order to make this crawler perform it a little bit better than it does out of the box. Today, where's our first our first step into weight relocation. And we have this kit from KYX. It is a battery front relocation kit. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this, right? So there's actually a front inner fender kit that you can buy from Traxxas that'll actually allow you to run a small battery up in the front of the vehicle. I don't really want to do that. I run big nasty batteries so that I can drive for hours and hours on end and not have to worry about it. And so this one is actually just big enough to allow me to do that. I might have to modify it slightly for my batteries even yet, but it actually puts all the weight really up front on the truck. And so that's what we're going to check out, how to install this today and see what difference it makes. Okay, here's the truck as it currently sits, and this is the battery, factory battery tray, and this is the 3S battery that I've been running. It's one of the Florian 3S's. It's been great so far in this, paired with this 21 turn Holmes Hobby motor. I can put a link for it up in the corner if you, or down in the description, one or the other. So the first thing I want to do, because this is the first time we're really going to be moving weight around on this truck, I want to understand what is the current front rear weight balance and how much total is it. And then we're going to move this tray. We're going to take out this huge plastic Traxxas tray, and we're going to move this other one. You have to move the servo. The servo gets relocated all the way up to the front, which is good for us also. And then this battery tray sits in underneath here, right on top of that where that motor is. And that helps move that battery all the way up there. Now, honestly, it's a little higher. It's going to be underneath these body mounts, so don't think it's going to be right here, but just a little bit higher than I really wanted, as it's actually above the motor. But it's going to be a lot farther forward than it is right now. It's going to be very interesting to see what difference this makes. So this is stock location, stock battery, bodies on it and everything. And we end up with 60 ounces in the rear. You can see this here, 60 ounces in the rear. All right, now we're going to pick the truck up. It's back to 0. Turn it around, set it right back down. And we are at 64.7. Whoop, I touched it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 64.8 on the front. So something I think is interesting here is actually, as this is set up, 64.8 ounces in the front, 60.1 in the rear, means actually we have a 52% of the weight on the front. It's actually a lot closer than I thought it would be out of the box. Let's see if we can change that. Okay, and so unfortunately, as happens sometimes with upgrades like this, I've run into a major snafu. So we've recently put on these Trio upper arms, upper shock mounts. These appear, the shock mounts that come with this KYX kit don't appear to actually want to stand up straight. So you'll see that I have this issue where they just fall. Now maybe we can, as long as they still line up, when we set everything straight and I can still click the body on it, that'll be okay. I was really hoping to be able to reuse the stock body mounts, but guess what? With this cross member in here, which I could eliminate, right? And this cross member up here, which again I could eliminate, it doesn't leave enough room for anything to sit underneath it once this is all the way down. So you end up using these, but guess what happens? it's too dang narrow. So the 3S battery that I have been using, as it turns out, is 50 millimeters wide. And now it is a wide battery, do not get me wrong. It is a wide battery, but it is 50 millimeters wide, and as it turns out, we have a 40 millimeter gap. So guess what? If I take standard 2S hard case, will not fit. I take a Florian hard case, 2S lipo, will not fit, 45 millimeters. Shorty lipo, will not fit, 45 millimeters. Another standard 2S lipo, will not fit, 45 millimeters. So I finally find one junk 2S battery that I was literally about to throw in the trash because it's starting to get puffy and I don't really have a use for it. And guess what? If you pull these up, and hopefully their correct location, it will barely fit because it is 40 millimeters. Buyer beware. If you are looking to put this front mount battery case, measure the batteries that you currently have. You might not have anything that fits. So I do have one utterly massive 8,000 milliamp 50C Ovonic 3S battery that just happens to be 40 millimeters. But do you notice the problem I'm having here? Look at where the body mounts are versus the body. I'm going to double check, but I think the body might just sit on the battery. Which, hey, I guess that would work, right? Like, it looks like it might be the exact height of the body. And it looks, but hey, with an 8,000 milliamp battery, these are the ones that James has been using in his 4S Creighton. We run it on 3S with these. 8,000 milliamp hours so that it lasts a long time. One, I'm going to have all the weight in the front of the vehicle, and then two, it's gonna be massive, and so I should be able to run for days if I put this battery in here. Not what I want to do, but maybe we do with what we can. So let me button this up and see if this works. Okay, moment of truth. I have, just for record, I have the 3S battery just sitting in the front, so that way this makes the same measurement as we started with when we first started this whole process. So now when I come in and I set this down, the front is now 71.3 ounces, 71.3. All right, and if I flip it up, scale goes back to 0. The rear is now 51.1 ounces. There you go, 51.1. Oh, I'm touching the tire again. 51.1. So we learned a few things here, and I apologize about my nasty handwriting, and I hope you can actually read this. So stock with the battery in there, we were at 64 ounces in the front. Now we are at 71. So we gained, so you know, it was basically 65 to 71. So that gains us 6 ounces, just a little bit over 6 ounces that we gained with all of this movement in the front. But you notice we lost 9 on the rear, right? 9 ounces on the rear. It actually did end up slightly lower weight. So the whole total weight of the truck was 124.9. It's now 122.4. Very surprising. So some pretty surprising results here. Like, did it move weight to the front? Yes, it definitely took more weight to the front. We had 52% front weight bias, now we have 58. If I'm honest, I kind of thought this would be a bigger change. But you know, there's so much other, those axles are heavy, the wheels that we have on there are heavy. And so, you know, I guess moving the battery, which I weighed the batteries themselves, battery is only 14 ounces. And so moving that up, the whole weight's still there, but it didn't actually change the total weight dynamic of the vehicle as drastically as I thought it would. We moved 6% of the weight to the front of the vehicle that wasn't there before. Overall, am I going to say that this KYX kit was easy to put in? No, not at all. There was definitely some figuring out, especially when it came to servo position, especially when it came to figuring out battery. That was kind of disappointing as we go through. Will it work good though? I think it will. Like, I think if you have a battery that already fits in that 40 millimeter wide, public service announcement, 40 millimeter wide in that area, then you're great. You're good to go. This kit works well, puts a servo up front, you know, it puts all this stuff up there. Like it's good. But anyway, so it's dark out now. It's actually getting pretty late, and so we're gonna have to test this a different time. So keep an eye out for that when we actually get to drive this. But also, we're still not done. So we have still a couple more upgrades that are already here that we need to put on, and that'll be the next video. Stick with us. In the meantime, hey, come over here, check out some of this other stuff that we have going on, some crawling videos, some other upgrades and modifications we've done to this TRX4, and we will see you next time. Thank you.